If you do not know who Dr. Jordan Peterson is, I highly suggest you start to watch some of his amazing work on social media platforms everywhere.
And so if you stepped into the political arena, you'd learn to speak more fluently, you'd learn to put your arguments together, you'd learn to be more responsible, you'd take the responsibility onto yourself and strengthen yourself as a consequence, you'd keep the country on the straight and narrow, and you'd keep it free, and all sorts of opportunities would emerge for you. And so that's what you do. Now, people don't do that, and it's partly also because they're taught, oh, the whole system is so corrupt that nothing can be done about it. It's like, well, if that's the case, you're in real trouble. And if it's not the case, take advantage of the opportunity. Get out there. Do something about it. You're a citizen. It means you have some responsibility. If you're a citizen without responsibility, you're headed for slavery. Simple as that.
Dr. Jordan Peterson is being threatened to have his psychiatric license pulled. Currently, this license is being held in Canada, and he is being forced by a judge to take mandatory social media training because he is doing one thing that liberals around the world are widely afraid of, and that is training men to be men.
The court wrote Peterson cannot have it both ways. He cannot speak as a member of a regulated profession without taking responsibility for the risk of harm that flows from him speaking in that trusted capacity.
Don't bloody well lecture me, some dimwit judge with a liberal bias, lecturing me about taking responsibility for what I say.
This world is so messed up, and I am about to disclose to you what I believe is Jordan Peterson's next move, and he doesn't even know it. But every time anything great has happened in our lives, it has been because of something really bad. 9 times out of 10, when something really bad happens, it gives birth to something amazing. Why? Because we have a very serious choice. We're torn down, beat down, and worked over by the world. And our emotions are vulnerable. We have a very serious choice, and that choice is to either stand up, get up, and act in the authority that we are given, or find that authority, or to give up, cower, and run. And that is exactly what the authorities want to do to Jordan Peterson. For so many reasons, they're saying they want to do this. They want to train him in how to speak in social media. It is because they are scared to death. They are afraid because he has gotten so popular and helped people like me to expose things in my life that I want and need to change. But it's the need to change that turns into the I want to change, is the difference between someone like Jordan Peterson and others that follow this liberal agenda. One thing is he calls the truth. He calls a man, and a woman. And I completely stand behind him.
Like one about actor Elliot Page. Peterson said the doctor who removed Page's breasts was a criminal. Another was directed toward a former Ottawa city councillor who uses they-them pronouns, describing Catherine McKinney as, quote, an appalling, self-righteous, moralizing thing.
It's very important for you to understand that these governing bodies that become so-called quote-unquote experts at one time never existed. These governing bodies, these certifying authorities, at one point were never in existence until one day someone said, I'm the professional and I will start a certifying authority, and then I will capitalize and charge you money and charge everyone underneath me money to come under my certification umbrella.
So it's actually an indefinite sentence, conditional only on what? On what? On what? My compliance? By what standard? To cap it all off, a social media communication expert. Who the hell is that?
And I'm going to tell you what, they're not experts in social media. You want to see an expert in social media? Go to Jordan Peterson. He's the one with the views. He's the one capturing the attention and the imagination of human beings all around the world. Put down in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about. I believe now is the time for Jordan Peterson to stand up and stand into his role and his calling on his life, and that is to lead a nation of new and current psychiatrists and counselors that understand how degraded our world has gotten because of the downfall of our minds. It is time to become your own self-certifying authority and watch how many hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of counselors and psychiatrists come underneath your umbrella to be trained to show men how to be men and how to wake up these nations and induce real change. The media is attacking left and right Jordan Peterson's message because they are afraid. Everything from how you should view yourself and how you should treat others with respect and kindness, but also to stand your ground and stand in the authority that you've been given by God. They can't stand the fact that he believes in God. They can't stand the fact that he eats red meat, that he understands the differences of what it has done in his mind and his body.
And he even denies that he has brought disrepute to the profession, arguing that the opposite is actually true. This is my favorite quote from him. He says, "I think I've done demonstrably more than any psychologist has ever produced to increase the prestige of and trust of the practice of psychology around the world."
Well, I'm glad you're humble. You'll probably win a prize for that too.
We need to stand up right now for those that are coming under persecution, and I stand up for Jordan Peterson. But standing up is only one thing, and I believe what Jordan is about to experience and understand is that it's time for him to fill the gap that has been made by decades of people falling under the influence and foolishness of people that say they're the authority. Who are they to be the authority? I guarantee you this. Not one psychiatrist under that same license has the following that Jordan Peterson does. So who is the authority? Is it the man or the woman that is out there changing hundreds of thousands of people's lives? Or the person that puts themselves in the ivory tower with the fancy suits and the fancy cars and the fancy homes because they're gleaning the money from everybody just trying to make a living by helping people? That is my question for you. And that is also my statement for Jordan Peterson. It's time to stand up and take over, to own the certifying authority. All you have to do is make it yourself. And so many of us understand that when actually so few people understand that when we take that big leap, that big step, and go over the behemoth that are these licensing authorities, that is when true greatness appears. But that is not a road that is wide and easy to drive. It is narrow and hard, but the reward is massive. And I believe this is the day, no matter who you are and what you're doing in your life, it's time to wake up and stand up against the unjust. No matter how much authority you think or they think they have nothing. Remember, Harvard was Harvard until Stanford was Stanford, and Stanford was started because a humble yet wealthy farming family was denied access for their child into that school, and they said, we'll start our own school. We have to remember that the behemoths were made to fall. The mighty are falling right now. We just need to stand up, and we need great men and great women to stand up in their roles, their God-given roles, and when they do amazing things. Together, man and woman make a great team, but it's very hard. And we need to understand this and identify these truths, these facts. I want therapists that have truth standing behind them, their morals, because then when they sow those seeds, it produces a great harvest.
The decision will no doubt only add fuel to the fire worldwide between Peterson's supporters and detractors. Peterson says if he loses his license in Ontario, he'll get one elsewhere. In the meantime, he plans to appeal the court's decision.
I hope you guys got something from this. The Economic Ninja is out.